Hey, hey everybody, just a quick little note that I'm putting into the video. There is an edit right when I hit overheal. I muted because I was about to cough, and then I didn't unmute. So I read through the runes stuff, and I wasn't unmuted, so I'm going to reread through it. It's obviously not a raw reaction to it because I'm rereading it for another time, but I guess I get more thought process on it. I don't really know. Just wanted to give you a heads up. I know I said it one part in the video a little bit later. I don't like to do edits on these, like super edits or anything, because I like it to just be itself. Like, I know intros and outros eventually, once I get them done, are gonna be on these types of videos, these reaction videos and stuff, but edits like in the actual reaction themselves typically aren't a thing. Just wanted to give you the heads up. I know I said I try not to edit so that it all looks just super, first time, not, whatever, but unfortunately, I wasn't talking through part of it. I have to edit that like 4 minutes out. Otherwise, like, there's no point in keeping 4 minutes of silence, So, anyway. Hey, everybody, what's up? Victorian Genetics here, bringing you my opinions discussion thing on patch 9.2. I'm not super high ranked player, obviously. I'm like usually middle gold. So this is not like really super analytical. This is how the meta is gonna change, which I know a lot of people appreciate those sort of things, but it's more of just my opinion, my views on the patch, basically. And I like to discuss, this is like one of my big things about doing YouTube videos and stuff. I really like to discuss these things with people. So my first time looking at the patch notes is just gonna be on the video to discuss with you guys. You can tell me what you think about what I think, or tell me what you think about the notes and all that stuff. So with that being said, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment with whatever you want to comment on, and subscribe for more videos. There's always more videos coming, reactions to various things, gameplay of various things, all that sort of stuff. And also, I will be muting on occasion whenever a cough pops up. So just so you know, if the audio gets weird, I'll completely freeze frame. I won't scroll through more notes. I just figured I'd let you guys know that. And without further ado, I think I said that right. Let's jump into patch notes. So patch notes 9.2. Hello everyone and welcome to 9.2. This is our season start patch. That's my first gripe about this patch. Why is the season starting on 9.2 and not 9.1? They do realize the 9 right there, that 9 at the beginning is your season. So 9.1 was not the patch start, but 9.2 is a little bit, you messed up. But that's just a very small thing. It's not a big thing. And while it's a big one, it's pretty straightforward. Names we have heard too often in recent months, Urgot, Ignite, Red Smite, are getting nerfs, while others we haven't heard in some time, Shyvana, Yorick, Sunfire Cape, are getting buffed up. Remember, knowledge is power, so make sure you're read up on 9.2 changes before charging into ranked. Your 2019 ranked climb begins this patch. Here's a quick TLDR of the changes. You'll get a provisional rank for each after your first ranked game, which is lowest rank you can end up placements in. Placement wins grant bonus LP. Losses don't cost LP. Your rank becomes visible to others after finishing placement. We've added iron and bronze. We've added iron below bronze, and grandmaster between master and challenger. Division 5 has been removed from all tiers. This new reward reflects your current rank. Wait, what? Oh. Across all profile. Oh, ranked armor. Okay. I should have probably read that. Ranked dashboard and hover card, as well as game lobbies. Season 2019 is broken into 3 splits, with each with your performance in each split, upgrading your ranked armor. There's no soft reset or time off between splits. End of season rewards are still based on overall performance across the season. We're previewing position ranked in Korea and North America. That's for split 1, and plan to roll them out globally in split 2. Each position has its own matchmaking rating and rank, with matches rewarding LP and rating for the position you played, plus a little for your other positions to recognize overall improvement. Then there's a bunch of stuff for a full rundown. After a rowdy month and a half of Battle Royales, battle sledding, and Nexuses running it down mid, the Nexus Splits queue shut down earlier this week. Thanks for playing. We'll be back with updates on our future plans a little further down the road. If you're looking for something new to scratch your fast-paced game mode itch, we've got something new coming down the pipeline this patch. Stay tuned. Silas, he looks cool as heck. I'm really interested in him. I don't really have a whole lot of overall opinions. He's a pretty standard looking mage besides his ultimate of stealing other people's ultimate. That's freaking crazy. But I really like his lore and his motif and his aesthetic and everything a whole lot. So, and he fights with like a weapon type of deal that isn't too horribly common. It's basically like a whip, and I don't know if anybody's fought with the whip. I mean, it's chains. He looks kind of like a God of War type character, honestly, mostly because of the weapon, but or like he looks like he'd be from like Darksiders probably. Like just put a mask on him, right? The death mask, and he's almost death. Anyway, Aatrox's damage ratio for Q decreased, E recharge time increased. True to his nature as an unkillable ancient terror, Aatrox survived the nerfs we threw at him during preseason and is still savaging both pro and regular play. This patch we're dropping his damage across the board. His E cooldown means less reliability on Q, but are especially focusing on his early game. So base damage is unchanged. The ratio is down by some weird numbers, because like look at that. I didn't even know there was a .64 and .68 ratio, lol. But now it's consistent. It's easier to math. It's down by only .01 early rank, but then by late rank it's .05. Full combo base damage is unchanged. Full combo ratio 4.5 to 4.22, 3.6 to 3.09. So that, yeah. So this is like almost a 0.6. This is a 0.5 drop, but then this is only 0.3. Not even 0.3. So yeah, it is definitely numbers rounded because they're gross. Thank you, Riot. I appreciate that. I don't play Aatrox enough to really know a whole heck of a lot, but I've fought him a fair bit, and obviously I've watched a lot of Aatrox play because he's all over Worlds and pro play in general. And he looks annoying, and he is annoying. So any nerf is a good thing, I guess. I don't really fully know what to think about that. 24 to 26, 8 to 10. So just a 2-second bump up to his dash. Bump it up. Q recast time reduced. Stun duration shorter if recast quickly. Longer for big stars. Q Star Surge has always suffered from 2 points of frustration. First, while its reactivation delay plays a crucial role in Irelian's vulnerability to all-ins, not being able to cast and immediately pop Q feels unintuitive. Second, the reward for landing a giant star from halfway across the map feels underwhelming. Scaling Star Surge's stun duration lets us address both issues without fully eliminating Irelian's intended vulnerability to all-ins. Minimum recast time goes from 0.65 to 0.25. That's cool because it always felt annoying and like not consistent with most of the rest of the game. How you like had to wait a fair bit before you could snap that. Can be buffered by double tapping Q on cast. That's cool too. That's like Lux E basically, I think. I'm not quite sure. Can hers be buffered by double tapping E, because usually I just push E and then like slightly before it lands I push E again. Stun duration from 1.1 to 1.5, it goes from 0.55 to 0.75, so they nerfed it by like half. Yeah, straight up half for the immediate recast. Scaling to 1.65 to 2.25 seconds after traveling for 5 seconds. Okay. Previous stun duration reached after 0.75 seconds when Q reaches Aurelian Soul's outer limit if he stands still. Okay. That's good. I mean, wait, 0.75? That is slightly longer than the original. I mean, I guess they just wanted a rounded number. Because, you know, the unrounded numbers are... Look it, there's more unrounded numbers. Whee! It's okay. That's cool, because, like, that's part of what was always annoying about playing Aurelian Soul. Is it just kind of felt a little too basic, and I didn't like the way the Q worked. So that's cool. I like that. Brand passive damage over time decrease. Brand shells out too much safe damage just by landing a spell and backing off. He should need to more actively make risky, aggressive plays to find success. Recommended items. Updated. Probably going to include a support page for him. Watch. I'm just assuming. That's like the main place I see him nowadays. Damage per stack. 3% targets max health. So 1% nerf. That's good because fuck Brand. Gosh dang it. I try not to curse too much. I'm trying not to, but it's so hard. My mind just like always is going, man. But yeah, that's good because I don't like versing Brand in the bot lane. W cooldown increased late, damage decreased late. As a follow-up to the noxious blast nerf at the end of the year, reducing Miasma's effectiveness, so Cassiopeia has to rely more on Twin Fang for damage. This forces her to get close to enemies, offering them an opportunity to fight back rather than melting helplessly from the distance. That is so cool, because that is one of the most frustrating things about fighting Cassiopeia. And I do like playing Cassie, but I don't play her that much, so I'm fine with her getting nerfed. 18 to 14 is 18 to 16. Okay, yeah, like they said, it's a nerf to late. 20 to 80, 20 to 60. Oh wait, what? Oh, that's damage per second. 100 to 400, 100 to 300. Oh, that's cool. That's overall pretty cool. It's not even like a huge nerf. I mean, I guess since you're losing like 100 per tick, or you're losing 100 if they full tick on it, but you never really got the full tick anyway. It was usually like 2 to 3, but Q damage decreased, cost increased, E damage decreased. Galio underwent big changes at the end of the year with the goal of weakening his pro play strengths and amplifying his normal play strengths. With those mechanical shifts in place, he's now too strong at both levels of play, so we're going for raw power nerfs. His Q 70 to 90 mana, now 80 to 120. Oh my gosh. I dislike when normal abilities cost more than 100. It always it feels bad. Like like Luxie is a big freaking one for that. Although maybe they changed that recently. I don't remember. I remember they did some stuff to Lux somewhat recently. I think it was mostly her ultimate, the cooldown refresh thing. Wind blast damage 70 to 230, 70 to 210. That's 20 damage. It's not horrible. Wind blast ratio not 0.9 to 0.75. Okay. So they nerfed it by about 0.15. Tornado ratio 4% targets max health per 100 ability power. And it's 2% target max health per 100 ability power. And then the base 6% is the same. Base 6% max health is unchanged. Okay, I already read that. So that's not too horribly bad. It does kind of suck because I do like playing Galio a lot. But 100 to 220 is now 80 to 220. So late game they nerfed his tornado basically, and early game they nerfed his punch. It's kind of a weird shift. It's a weird shift for sure. I mean, the ratio nerf is gonna nerf your early damage ever so slightly because you take AP and stuff on him. But I don't know. I've never really quite fully seen this sort of thing where like one nerf is. Well, I guess this is a huge nerf for late game. So it's like this got nerfed early and late. Wait. Oh no, wait, never mind. It got nerfed late. Blah, 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 blah. Disregard all of that. I don't know what the hell I was looking at. I think I looked at this and I thought it was this. La, 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 la. Okay, we're done. It's all late. It's all pretty much late. Irelia, passive bonus damage versus shield removed. Yes. Q deals bonus damage to minions instead of double damage. Okay. R duration decreased late. Damage increased, slow increased, and no longer disarms. That's all super freaking awesome. I saw this on the, what was it? Surrender at 20, because I was like, whoa, wait. Or I saw it on Twitter. I don't know. I follow a bunch of Riot devs and stuff on Twitter. And I was like, yes, thank you. The disarm is just the most annoying feeling thing. Like you end up walking through the wall, or you don't even fully touch it. There's like a weird hitbox to it, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I can't auto attack. It just feels bad. It's like when you get silenced. It just feels so bad. Irelia's got a lot going on across her abilities, which makes her effective in an extremely broad range of team comps and scenarios. We're removing a few mechanics that weren't essential to her Blade Dancer combat style, as well as reining in Blade Surge's late game instant wave clear. Irelia no longer deals bonus damage to shields at max stacks. Okay. And it's instead of double damage, it's flat damage. Oh, it's not scaling. Well, yeah, it used to deal double damage, so you just be like boop, 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 all the minions late game. So now it's just 45 to 105. That's not. I don't think that's horrible, but like late game, it'll probably make a difference for sure. It's always 2.5 seconds. I kind of like when stuff gets consistent like that instead of like, okay, at rank 1 it's 2.5, at rank 2 it's 3. Like, enemies who pass through the wall are no longer disarmed. Sweet, thank you. Wall slow is now 90% instead of 60. That's huge. How long of a slow is it though? Or I guess it's just if you're in the wall you get slowed, right? I don't fully remember. Cause like anytime she throws it, like you'll get hit by it or you don't get hit by it, and like you're inside or outside and you just kind of avoid it a little bit, especially because the disarm. But now you'll be like more inclined to try and go through it to try and help fight, or you know, whatever's going on, and you could try and actually go through it to try and run as you're auto attacking and orb blocking and stuff, which is just nice. Thank you. Although it slows you by a lot, so it's not like the best thing to walk through it, but there's probably going to be a few case scenarios where it's okay. 75 to 125. Whoa, they upped the damage by quite a bit. So just flat out landing this is going to be cool. It's going to feel a lot better, because like before it was like you land it and it was just purely like the slight disarm and slight slow, and then like it was so much about getting the Q resets from it, which it's still a lot about that. That's not like a huge chunk of damage, but it's nice that they took this away and they took this away and they like compensated somewhere, you know. E attack speed increase, buffing Jarvan's clear speed as well as unique aura he provides his team. Jarvan has this bonus at all times and gains it a second time while near his flag. What? I didn't know that was a thing. Wait. I've played Jarvan several times, but I didn't know that was a thing. That's a... I didn't know that was a thing. Thanks for reminding me of that, Riot. I now know something new. So 15 to 20, 25 to 30. So they upped it by 5 across all ranks. Yeah. That's not too bad. That's fun. Jarvan's cool. I love Jarvan. I don't play him enough, but Jax, attack damage decreased, Q damage decreased. Ooh. Nerfing Jax's early game damage to slow his roll into late game raid boss. and give enemies a wider window to beat him early. Attack damage. Whoa, it went down by almost 2. What? Holy cow, that is such a huge nerf. I mean, it is attack damage, which is like on your auto attack, so it's like as you're hitting somebody you lose 2. Now you've lost 4. Now you've lost 6, but it mostly just freaks with your last hitting. Whoa, man. 80 to 240, 65 to 225. The ratios are the same. Yeah. So they nerfed it by 15 early game, so that's nice. And 15 late game. That's not that big of a deal. That's like a slight little decrease. That's not anything major. Armor decreased. We're playing into Cassidon's anti-magic theme by opening up a weakness to physical damage lane bullies. Base armor. Why was his base armor 23.376? What? Why did you need the .376 there? So they nerfed this by like 4. Wait. Yeah, 4. And then his armor growth is nerfed by... Wait, does the line disappear when you highlight it? No, it just becomes like slightly not readable. So 3.2 to 2.8. So that's 1.4. So 0.4, 0.8, 1.2, 1.6, 2.0. 2.0 for 5 levels. So at level 6 you've lost 2. Wait. Yeah. At level 6 you've lost 2. At level 11 you've lost 4. And at level 16 you've lost 6. So you've lost around 6.5 armor by level 18, right? You can correct me if that math is wrong. I'm trying to do it off the top of my head. So 6.5. It's a rounded number, obviously, because it'll be 6.4. No, wait. 6.8. So it's almost 7, actually. My bad. 7. And he's lost 4 here. 7 plus 4 is 11. So he's lost like 11 armor by late game. I mean, that's good, because that's always my first thought, is like, when they pick Cassidon, I'm like, when they pick Cassidon, I try and pick somebody that's gonna bully him that's physical usually. Or I just pick my magic people like usual, and I'm just like, okay, let's go. Yes, this is the part that I read about these already on, I don't remember what it was on. I think it was somebody posted it. Oh, Bunny Fufu posted something about Kane new mechanics. I was like, what? Because I mained the heck out of Kane. So I went and pulled it up on Surrender at 20. I was like, oh, heck yes. Yes. There's a lot of text below, but here's the gist. Unlock progress for Red and Blue Kane are no longer separate. Violence always gets you closer to transformation, and capitalizing on an advantageous mid-game opportunities against one ranged type no longer risks undoing the work you did to unlock the other type first. You still end up unlocking the form you don't want. If you still end up unlocking the form you don't want, you can now unlock form you do want faster by continuing to fight the other range type. That is like the coolest freaking change that I'm like, yes! Darken and Shadow Assassin unlock progress are separate. Darken and Shadow Assassin share unlock progress. When transformation becomes available, the form that unlocks is chosen based on which champion type Kane dealt more damage to. Transformation threshold is now 500. That's the only part that kind of sucks. Offsetting the rate increase from combining transformation progress. So them being separate really did infect it that much that they had to add 100. I don't know. If Kane unlocks his transformation when the two forms are near even, Kane unlocks the form of the damaged champion type he damaged last. Oh, last. That's cool. Okay, because like it was always like that final little bit, you'd get a whole bunch of orbs. You're like, I don't know what I'm getting. And I don't know how it decided it. I think it was whatever orb popped into Kane that filled it last would give you your form, I think, is what would happen. So like you'd be getting like a red, a blue, because like a team fight or something broke out. Like, not a team fight because it's ganks at that point in time. You usually get it by around 10 to 12 minutes for me anyway. Sometimes I get it later because I'm just not the best jungler, but so you'd get into a fight at like bot lane and they have the melee and the ranged, and then like the jungler comes in, and so it's a 3v3, and you do deal damage to the range, then you'll deal damage to the melee, and then the range, and then the melee, and then the range, and then the melee, or whatever the process is. Obviously that's not how a team fight actually ends up playing out. Usually it's consistent damage on one, and then you swap as you need to swap. But and then you wouldn't be sure what you would get, and you'd get like the melee and then the ranged and then the melee and then a ranged or whatever, and you'd get Shadow Assassin. You're like, but I fought 2 melee people more. Now you could just be like, keep track of who the last person you damaged was and be able to like, oh crud, I have to deal damage to the melee, or make sure you kill the melee guy last, or whatever else. So that's a little bit of a consistency thing, which is nice. Time waiting. Damage dealt later in the game is still worth more transformation progress, but doesn't count for more in terms of which form Kane unlocks. Okay. So basically the orbs are worth more souls, but they're not worth more damage on those souls. So like basically each little soul has like a damage number of sorts in it, I guess you can think of it that way. And that's like a number that goes into a separate pool for Kane. So he has his base pool, get 500, and then there's another pool like that's slash. So there's like melee form, and then there's ranged form, and they compete, and each orb gives you like a number that kind of goes into those. That's how I would think of it anyway. I think that's what the best way to think of it. Faster other form. Once Kane's first form is unlocked, he can continue collecting orbs of the other form to reduce the timer until his second form unlocks. Best thing, because like you'd unlock a form a lot of times, and for me anyway, I'd feel so uninclined to fight because it's like 4 minutes and then I get my form that I want to fight with. Like, I don't know. Especially at the time that you usually unlock form is 10 to 12ish minutes, and you're like, crud, they're outscaling me so hard because base Kane is just like not that great. Transformation clarity. Kane's transformation bar now changes color based on which champion type he's dealt more damage to. Love that. Kane can now ping various aspects. I try and do this all the time. I'll like ping my face and I'll ping forms and stuff, and it never does anything. I'm just like, I look like an idiot that I'm pinging that I'm alive. Ping in the transformation bar tells allies roughly how close you are. Early, midway, and very near. Pinging the form available button tells allies you can transform into that form. Pinging form unavailable tells them that the time remaining. Yes! I'm so happy about that. But now I have to tell myself, hey, you can ping your forms and stuff now. Let me go home. Kane can now recall before Shadow Step expires as long as he isn't still in terrain. Oh, I didn't even notice that because I just always naturally waited for it to end. Giving Shadow Assassin Kane a better shot at escaping sticky situations. So his exit is 300 to 500 based on Shadow Assassin Kane's cursor position. Ooh! That's nice because like Shadow Assassin, that's my favorite form. I love playing Shadow Assassin. But like you almost always end up having to go Rost. And part of it is like Shadow Assassin just doesn't live as well. Anywhere near as well. But having like the easier ways to get out and stuff will be nice. It's just a slight easier way to get out. Oh, wait, didn't they have... It looks like they got rid of... It looks like they removed... They had a change on here where they were like gonna make it where Kane could pop out even closer to the person if they wanted to. Fixed a shadow step into basic attack into Reaping slash Bug, where if Shadow Step's buff expired during Q cast, Q dealt no damage. I didn't even notice that. That's crazy. Wait. I mean, maybe I noticed. Maybe I've had it happen a few times, but I probably never really noticed it. That's more of like a jungle camps thing for, and if you're using E to go take camps, because it heals you, so it's a pretty good jungle sustain too. Kayn no longer immediately harvests orbs when damaging ranged champions who hadn't damaged him. He'll now properly wait until exiting combat. Okay, that's cool. Fixed a bug where Soul Hunter Kayn, this is so specific, Soul Hunter Kayn would hear the audio for Master Yi's Highlander forever if he transformed into Rost with Master Yi in the game. What? That's so specific, and how does that happen? Spaghetti code. That's probably how that happened. W clone haste duration increased. Clone travels in target direction rather than pathing to target location. Are no longer slows, but Nico lands faster after jumping. We're playing up Nico's clone baiting potential with Shape Splitter. I like how it's Shape Shifter, but Shape Splitter. And trimming an extraneous strength from Pop Blossom with an accompanying buff to keep the change net neutral. She lands faster after jumping, and it no longer slows. That kind of sucks that it no longer slows. Now it's going to be even harder to land. Jump time is slightly reduced. Okay. Losing that slow kind of sucks, I feel like. Oh, the tooltip now tells you the shield's ratio too. That's good. Nico's clone now travels in the target direction until it runs into terrain rather than pathing to the target location. Passive once again works on turrets. Shape splitters. Oh, that's the passive part of it, where every third auto does extra damage. Clone and haste duration is 3 seconds. I had a few people complain about the cough, so I'm like really trying to make sure it doesn't like show up, and I just mute for it. And with reaction and discussion videos, I really don't like having to edit it unless it's like a top 10 list or it's very clear to edit it. I'd rather have this be straight through, so I'd rather just mute for my cough. Ornn health and armor increased. We took a mechanic pass on Ornn last patch. Our intent was he'd be slightly stronger overall. That isn't the case. In particular, players are struggling in lane without Bellows Breath shield, so we're giving him some more baseline tankiness. So like 35-ish, no, 25-ish health and 3 armor. That's cool. Lets him tank wave a little bit better if he starts getting aggressive. And he's getting nerfed again, dude. Holy cow. I've never had this. Well, actually Tank Echo. Because of Tank Echo, I had so much nerfing on Tank Echo. And Echo in general, technically, because you lost a lot of base damage, but ratios increased, but that doesn't help your early game really, having your ratio increase, yada yada yada. But like, I chose the main Rakan because I love Rakan, and I have just never experienced this where your champion is getting nerfed every like patch or two. Like, it's freaking crazy. It feels so crazy. Armor decreased, W dash speed decreased, but activates faster upon reaching his destination. This patch's changes to Grand Entrance are a targeted nerf for Rakan's RW initiation. The quickness speed boost made Grand Entrance dash fast enough for Rakan to reliably charm enemies at the dash's endpoint, holding them in place for the knockup, and for coordinated teams, a truckload of follow-up damage from Rakan's allies. Slowing Grand Entrance's dash speed gives foes more time to react to Rakan's dash, while reducing the delay before it pops keeps it effective when Rakan isn't trying to do fancy combos with it. I'm depressed. I am depression. Anybody seen that meme? I am confusion. She's talking about why is this one Arkansas and this one's, why is this one Kansas but this one's not Arkansas and it's Arkansas. Armor is 33 to 29. So they nerfed the effectiveness of your dash in so it's more reactable, and they made you die faster. Dash speed is now 1400 plus 45 plus 80 with unupgraded / upgraded boots. So movement speed just flat out doesn't help the dash. It just goes up by 80. So it's 1480. It went from 2050 plus your movement speed to 1480. I feel like the other two forms of boots should add more. So like if you buy the movement speed 3 boots, should add another fucking, dang it, another freaking little thing. Effect delay 0.5 seconds. I'm not sure. I'm not even how sure this like no cursing thing is gonna work, because I curse. I curse when I'm just like in passing sometimes. Like we'll see. I'm trying. Like all last night while I was at work, I had a rubber band that I was snapping on me. I'm trying. 0.5 seconds after reaching the destination. 0.35 seconds after reaching the destination. The effect delay. So the effect goes faster, but he gets there way slower. Max range casts hit slightly later than before. Short range casts hit faster. Okay. Fixed a bug that caused the quickness to sometimes not affect Rakan's basic attack target. What? That's crazy. Like what? Why would that happen? Oh my god. Riot. Passive bonus damage to dragons increased. E mark damage increased. Siobhan has been on the weak side for quite a while. Oh, I didn't turn on my overhead light. Oh well. Let's just... I can't get... We'll like open that so that maybe there's a little bit more light. Now it's like all too bright. No, close it. Close it. It was fine. Okay, it's fine. The computer screen is lighting me up enough. Siobhan has been on the weak side while buffering her unique dragon killing ability as well as her ability to shred through tanks. We're not well. Fury of the Dragonborn, 20% more damage to dragons. Ooh, also applies to Vile Maul. Cool. Mark damage is up to 3.25% of the target's max health, so it's up by 1.25. I mean, that's cool. I love me some Shyvana. And like that's one of the key aspects for me for Shyvana. I always try and go do those dragons, dude. She can solo them so well. Well, she has to wait till like level 5-ish usually. 5, 6. Maybe she could do it a little bit sooner, but I'm always like super safe and I'm like, I need to make sure I have the items. Allies in combat with champions can no longer jump into R. That's okay. That's fine. That's not even that big of a change, really. Like there were probably those cases were probably super fringe where a friend would be running away from enemies, and obviously you count as in combat for like I want to say 6 seconds, but I'm not sure. That's usually just how long an in combat versus out of combat buff takes to activate. It's like 5 to 6 seconds, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. So they'd be running from enemies, and then Tom Kench would like start it up, and then you jump in, and yeah. So I don't see that being too big of a... Urgot, armor decreased, Q cost increased, W cooldown increased. It's time. Urgot, we're nerfing Crabman's early game across a number of vectors to give other top laners a better chance at success. So he lost 3 armor, cool. It now costs 60 mana, which that 10 mana does add up in the long haul. And it went from 13 seconds to 17 seconds, a 4-second nerf on level 1. I don't know which ability you level first on him, so I don't know how much this matters. E bonus damage versus dashing / airborne targets changed to max health. What? R ratio increased on cast. Lightning happens faster. Our ratio increased. On cast, lightning happens faster. Lightning now bounces instantly. Given that Volibear, like other juggernauts, is often forced to fight whoever's up close and personal, we're changing Majestic Roar's bonus damage to be good against fighters and tanks. Cool! Not just backlane squishies. We're also given the opportunity to make Thunderclaws. We're also taking the opportunity to make Thunderclaws feel snappier. I didn't know this dealt bonus damage versus dashing and airborne targets. So if you throw them up, that counts as airborne and then you roar on them? Is that the idea there? I didn't know they did this. When did they do this? And it went from 0.3 ability power, which who builds ability power on freaking Volibear? Feels kind of weird. I mean, I know this scales with ability power. This just all feels so weird. I don't know why they don't just like slightly rework him. I don't know. I know people play him quite a bit. I don't know. Just ever so slightly. Like, I'm guessing this was part of an ever so slight rework. And I know he has like a knockback on his E and stuff. I don't know what all the specifics are. Because I don't really play him enough and I didn't really... You don't see him enough to know. 0.3 to 0.4. Fires after 0.20. He doesn't build ability power though. That's what's so weird for me. Fires after 0.1 second. Chain lightning no longer takes 0.75 seconds to bounce to from one target to the next. It's now instant. Oh my gosh. Okay. The Maiden now follows Yorick when he leaves lane. Maiden health scales better with game time. Graves spawn faster late game. Mistwalkers and the Maiden no longer deal less damage when far from Yorick. Yorick's a lot stronger when the Maiden is with him. But he loses that strength if he doesn't stay in lane, leading to some subpar contributions. Words, English fails me. If he abandons a split push to fight with his team, we're giving Yorick the ability to bring the Maiden and her Mistwalkers with him, roaming together as combat buddies or cross-lane turret demolitionists. Yes, thank you. That was so annoying. Like, maybe you can jungle Yorick a little bit better now. Because that was always the most annoying part about trying to do jungle Yorick, is the fact that, like, your little guys... Oh, no, wait. Her Mistwalkers. I don't know if this includes normal Mistwalkers. Toss in the late game. Increase the Mistwalker availability. Especially when Yorick's allies don't let him get last hits with last rites, and we've got a patch. Whew. Decayed Intent. Mistwalkers and Maiden no longer deal decreased damage when far from Yorick. Oh, and he can still leave her in a lane. Dude, that'd be cool if they added an animation to this where he just like does something. I doubt they did, but oh my gosh, I feel like it's gradually getting worse. 12-8-4 to 12-6-2. 2 on ARAM. Nearby enemy deaths per grave. What? Oh, how many deaths it takes for a grave to spawn, I think? I'm not sure. Mistwalker gold is 2. Okay, that's cool. That's a fair change. Mistwalkers and their Maiden and the Maiden no longer sometimes fail to target an enemy hit by Morning Mist. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I've never seen that happen, but like that's a weird inconsistency thing. Where, like, this is what it's supposed to do. 100%. Maiden health is from 700 to 300. Oh, snap. Oh, it's 70% of Yorick's health now. 4,000 to 3,000, but it's 70% of Yorick's health now. No longer begins autonomously pushing a lane. Instead, she'll leash back to him. And then you can reactivate to have them push that lane. That's so cool. I love that change. I don't play Yorick enough, just because he's like a juggernaut and you have to walk up to him, and I don't play juggernauts that well. I play like okay, but it's Mana regen. People get all mad at me because I say regen all the time. Like, I'm sorry. Lower mana regen means Zyra will need to think twice before fishing for hits with deadly spines and grasping roots, lest she be caught out without resources during a gank or all in. 15.335. Such a specific number. Thank you, Riot. To 13. So she's lost like 2.3. Quality of life changes and fixes. Haste Spikes now prioritizes the last champion, then the last non-champion Evelyn hit, but now prioritizes the lowest health champion next, ahead of the lowest health non-champion. Hate Spikes recasts can now be buffered up to 0.5 seconds before becoming castable. Cool. Allure's cast no longer fizzles if Evelyn loses sight of her target mid-cast. Thank you. No longer occasionally drops Evelyn directly on top of her target. Can now be buffered during Empowered E Whiplash. Okay. This one actually went live last patch, but we figured it's still worth a mention. Jousting through minions is no longer likely to stack them directly on top of each other. Is that a buff or a nerf? I feel like it's cool to stack them so your E can actually do damage to all of them, but I don't know. Given you're typically trying to hit something on screen or just off screen with these abilities, we're disabling minimap target to avoid miscasts. Thank you. If the cursor is over, so Lux's Final Spark and our Tidal Wave. But I mean, it still happens to me a lot of time with like Ezreal and stuff. I'll like aim and I hover my map over there, and then I'm just like aimed slightly where they are, and I throw my ability and I find out I was on the mini map. I'm like, gosh dang it. Oblivion Orb, cost increased, ability power decreases. A ubiquitous mage pick due to the ability to stack its magic penetration with sorcerer shoes relatively early in the game. That being the case, why didn't we nerf the magic penetration? We're shrinking Oblivion Orbs contribution towards ability ratio, so it's less attractive for late scaling mages while still satisfying the rush for champions with high base damages and are looking for an early power spike. So it now costs 100 gold more, and it lost some ability power. That's not horrible. But it means this lost it too. Like Oblivion Orb above, we want to push Morellonomicon a bit further toward its unique identity. In this case, that identity is the magic damage grievous wound item. If the enemy team doesn't have significant sources of healing and regeneration, finishing Morellonomicon should be less attractive than sitting on Oblivion Orb and building something else. Total cost unchanged due to Oblivion Orb cost increase. Okay. That's cool. So the cost in it become whatever, but the ability power went down a little bit. Despite its historical place in many tank and fighter builds, Sunfire Cape isn't showing up in many inventories these days. Making it cheaper provides earlier access to full-powered immolate effect, giving core users a leg up in lane, and reopening the door to Sunfire builds for champs who rotated onto other items first. Anyway, now that I'm actually talking, Overheal ally healing grants less shielding, self-healing grants more shielding, shield decays gradually instead of immediately. The effectiveness was if your allies knew to overheal you, so it didn't help much in solo queue. We're siphoning the coordinated play strength into more self-sufficiency, and we're shifting to the Bloodthirster overheal model, which I really like the Bloodthirster model better than just like it immediately falls. Ally heal goes from 300% to 40 to 100%. And self-heal goes from just 40 to 40 to 100. Shield decay, instead of falling immediately after 6 seconds, it's 6 seconds and then a 2.5 second shield loss every second, which is really nice. I like that. And the tooltip now displays properly all the damage blocked rather than the last instance, which is really legit. I really like those end of stat facts. Sometimes I really wish I had a dual monitor, man, so I could, you know, have my OBS over there and my eyes can constantly track and see. Oh my God, I'm not my voice isn't going through. The choice between Bloodline and Alacrity isn't all that exciting, with a majority of potential users simply defaulting to Alacrity without much thought. We're shifting Bloodline to be stronger late game option, adding a new decision point on top of attack speed or attack speed or lifesteal. So it went up. It's not as good once you hit 10 stacks, but the second you hit like 11 stacks, I think it's better. Wait, 0.2, so you lose 2.0. So, wait. So it went from being 8% to 6% at 10. So 6% at 10, 6.6 at 11, 7.2 at 12, 7.8 at 13. At 14 is when you start getting more lifesteal. Okay, that's not too bad. And like just overall, by the time you hit max stacks, it's like a 50% increase in efficiency. I think that's how you would word that statistic. It like because half of 8 is 4, and went up by 4. I think that's how. You can correct me if I'm wrong on how to say that statistic. Bonus damage scales based on percent max health difference rather than flat health. Cut down scales dramatically over time due to flat health difference being much narrower before level scaling and items kick in. Switching to percent model makes it useful even in the early game, though the max bonus is going down to accommodate this increase in relevance. So it went from 4 to 12% to 4 to 10%, and instead of being 150 to 2000 health, it's 10% to 100%. That's really nice. I've never really used this a whole lot. Maybe it was just the flat health thing that always kept me from using it. Like maybe my mind subconsciously was like, you know what? I don't think that's gonna help me a whole heck of a lot. I don't know. Maybe I'll be more inclined to use it and try it now. I've never really used this one either, Absolute Focus, just because this is the one where if you're above 70%, I believe, right? Absolute Focus is overtuned, particularly for champs who extract tons of PvE value from the bonus stats, marksmen and junglers. We're bringing its effectiveness down across the board. 3 to 24 attack damage is now 1.8 to 18. Whoa. Okay, never mind. I was reading this as 3 to 34 for a second there. I was like, whoa, that went down by like half. No, it's 6, which is still a fair bit. And then 3 to 30 instead of 5 to 40. That's a pretty big hit overall. Not like super big, but... The adaptive damage stat has proven to be the best option in the offense row, and especially in the flex row, so we're nerfing it. Buffs to the armor stat and magic resist rune bring it in line with the rest of the flex, and magic resist needing more of a leg up. While the individual buffs and nerfs here might look fiddly, a change in pick rates creates a far more noticeable effect. Champs who switch their flex from adaptive to armor or magic resist lose 10 damage instead of 1. That makes a lot of sense. But champions who take the adaptive damage in both are just losing, you know, or in one, the flex or whatever, are just losing 1. Like, it makes sense. Ignite. Damage and cooldown decreased. Ignite's damage nerf should come as no surprise. It's been flooding summoner spell choices across multiple lanes. The cooldown buff may look confusing, but shifting power out of Ignite burn into its uptime lets us swing harder on damage without killing the spell entirely. So they nerfed the cooldown, but so the damage went down by 10 early game, and late game it went down by 105. So that's pretty fair. 210 to 180. So it's even better as far as the cooldown summoner goes. I don't use Ignite enough to know more about this, because like Echo I take teleport, Ezreal I take heal usually, or barrier, or sometimes teleport if I'm like mid or something, or if I want to pull some like back immediately to get the tier and then teleport back the lane type stuff. And then Kayn, obviously I'm running Smite. Sometimes I play like Ahri, and sometimes I play Ignite on Echo. It just depends on what the team comps are and stuff. So this is going to be weird to get used to, because I don't play Ignite enough to really adapt to this super quickly. It's going to take a really long time for me to fully adapt to that. Baron buff is weaker in the early game. During preseason, we made Baron buff less mandatory for sieges by buffing minions. To reduce the degree games revolve around it, we're following suit by weakening the combat strength early Barons offer to reduce the number of games that snowball off of one good play into an abrupt end. Scaling accelerates over time in increments every second. So I don't really think I need to read the numbers. 24 to 48 at 20 to 40. 36 at 30 minutes. 12 to 48 at 20 to 40. 26 at 30 minutes. What? So what'd they change here? Oh, they halved this. So it ramps up. Like, it still ramps up to the same. It's just, it has to ramp up more. Okay, that's cool. And the ability power is doing pretty much the same. Minion damage reduction versus champions. 50 to 70% at 20 to 40 minutes instead of 70% at all times. That's cool. I like that. Inhibitor and Nexus turret have late game resistances at all times. On a similar note as Hand of Baron, we're making base defenses more resilient to early sieges to avoid games falling into an unrecoverable state due to the one good early push. Inhibitor and Nexus turret resistances 55 to 70 armor and magic resist at 31 to 45, 70 magic resistant armor at all times. Sweet. Jungle camp experience. Camp experience scaling decreased. Rift Scuddler gold scaling also decreased. Our preseason changes to camp experience didn't result in the jungler power and influence reduction we intended, so we're following up. It's a bunch of number changes. Small camps, experience scales every level instead of every second level instead of every level. Scaling reduced from plus 50% to plus 25%. Like 150. Like, it's a bunch of number changes. Every camp got nerfed. Like, every camp. Buff camps. Experience scaling every second level instead. Scaling reduced from 57 to 25. Yeah, it scales. It scales less. Like a 40. Damn, they reduced the experience from these by a lot. Golden experience scaling reduced from 100 to 80 to 80%. Okay. So they both went down a fair bit. Damage decreased, no longer grants vision of the target. Aww. Grants junglers. So it grants 12 less damage early game. And 20, 40, no, 30, 37? I want to say. No longer grants vision. That kind of sucks. But it's fine, because only 2.5 seconds, like, most of the time they're not going to become unseeable. Most of the time. Bunch of bug fixes. Oh, that's nice. But saving highlights no longer causes them to rewrite each other, because the name is the same on all of them. What? If you basic attacked when your W reached max range, it canceled your auto. If a hunt activates mid-attack animation, what? Oh my gosh, dude, they have some really wonky bugs. They end up with some really wonky bugs. This section always has a fair bit going on, and then there's always a bunch of bugs with like random stuff. I like the firecracker skins and the coin emperor. And I love this. I love that they're doing chromas for skins as they come out. Wait, what? Is Heartbreaker Fiora? Oh, wait. And why isn't Heartbreaker Fiora listed on here? Did it already come out? Firecracker. Oh, this is Prestige Vein. That's why. I was like, there's 4 skins here, but there's only 3. Oh wait, they're not doing all skins. Firecracker, Sejuani. I guess because Firecracker Vein has the Prestige Edition, it doesn't have. I wonder how this event's gonna run for Prestige Edition Vein. But anyway, that's all of the notes. Sorry about the edit point, and sorry about the lighting getting all weird. It's becoming evening time right now, and I didn't have the light on. So, thank you all for watching. I'll catch you all next time. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the patch and League and all that stuff in general. Comment with whatever you want to comment with. Drop a sub for more videos, and leave a like if you like the video. So, catch you all next time. Peace out.